Hi, this is Iris from Cashmere Goat, and this is the 23rd episode of our podcast. And I say our because usually I'm doing this podcast with Kristen, who is the shop owner. Kristen's not able to be with me today, but I wanted to hop on and give you a little update because there's been some really exciting things going on. So if you're new here, welcome. We're a tiny little yarn store with a big heart in Camden, Maine, which is a gorgeous little seaside community. And we do a podcast every couple weeks or so. Sometimes they're shorter, sometimes they're longer, sometimes they're silly. But we like to just sort of share what's been going on for us here in the shop. So the major first thing I have to talk about is I just came back from a 4-night cruise on the Schooner J&E Riggin. This was a knitting cruise that was organized by Sawmill Creek Fiber Events. Mary is phenomenal, and she is the organizer. She kind of partners with us, and I was fortunate enough to go along on this adventure with Mary and with a group of, I lost count. I should probably have the head count in my mind, but a really phenomenal group of folks. And some of them were remote goats. That's what we call our folks who don't live nearby. Some of them are remote goats that I've only really ever hung out with on Zoom during our knit-alongs. And so that was such a fun treat. We had folks from as far away as Los Angeles, Brian and Linda. We had a couple from Texas, Yolanda and David, and we even had a local goat, Barbara, who came along. And so it was really fun. And then there were some folks that I didn't know at all that came kind of via Mary and her promotional things that she does. So it was a delight. And let me just sort of give you a little bit of a picture of what this is. So the J&E Riggin is a historic schooner. I've been on the schooner a few times before. My son actually was an apprentice on this schooner way back a number of years ago under the previous owner. So this was my first time with the new owners, Jocelyn and Justin, who are a super sweet young couple. Jocelyn is also the chef on board. This schooner, I believe, is 1927 was when it was built. It has beautiful sails. There's a real anchor that gets raised up, and the sails get lowered and raised, and so sometimes the guests on board, those who are able to, are invited to participate in like pulling on the rope to raise the sails, or for the really adventurous, helping with pulling the anchor up. Flaking the sail means when you're pulling the sail down and just kind of like getting it nice and folded back and forth, back and forth. Some of us helped with that. Some of us love to just pitch a hand in down in the galley prepping food, because the food is amazing and is one of like the huge draws of these incredible trips. So you're getting gourmet meals 3 times a day. And I'm talking things like bourbon brown sugar cinnamon buns. We had handmade duck egg pasta with fresh pesto one night. This is some pretty high quality fare, all thanks to Jocelyn and her galley crew down below. And P.S., this food is prepared. The galley, there's all sorts of there's some table surfaces to prep food on, but the actual space where there's a sink and there's a little tiny prep area and there's a wood-fired cook stove, which most of the food is cooked on. Occasionally, I think a butane burner is used, but it's amazing that the caliber of these delicious and beautiful meals are prepared in pretty rustic conditions. Anyway, so the food's amazing. The scenery is unbeatable. I live in Maine, but I don't get out on the water all that much. So anytime I have the opportunity to see Maine from the water, see the hills that I'm used to hiking from the water. Every morning we basically saw little jumping fish, as they would be swimming by. We're still anchored, getting ready maybe for breakfast. just having some quiet time, waking up early. I love to wake up early on board, and everybody's really respectful and mellow, and maybe having a cup of tea or coffee because they bring that up on deck so we can just enjoy a warm beverage. Some folks were catching up on a little bit of work, just squeezing a little bit of work in before the day began. Some folks were just up there like meditating. I like to do a little yoga and stretching first thing, so I would do that every day. And I'm sitting there and I'm seeing like out over the water, and there's some fish just bloop, bloop, coming up, and some porpoises, seals as well. There was one place that we anchored. We were off of Sheep Island, which is up near Castine, and there was definitely a very curious seal population around our boat. So I swam a couple times, once off the boat and once off of an island. And I'm not usually a cold water swimmer, but I was inspired by one of our guests, Kim, who has done this trip before, and Kim is a seasoned cold water dipper. So Kim gave me some encouragement, and so we swam the first night right off the boat. It was a really hot and sticky day, and I just felt like I was covered in sunscreen, and I wanted to cool my core temperature down before getting into bed. And people were like, but don't you feel really salty and gross? And I guess the answer for me is no. There's something a little bit different about being in the deeper water for me, or in like the island water. It's like really different than the beach. I don't know, maybe the beach concentrates the salt or something like that. If you know anything about that, you could let us know down below in the comments. My experience is it doesn't feel too salty. Like, yeah, my hair felt crunchy. My curls were amazing. We had the saltwater treatment. Actually, two of the crew members one had pretty curly hair. The other one had kind of like hair like mine. And after our swim that night, we were like, oh, look at our salt treatment on our curls. We could be models for beautiful saltwater hair treatment. Anyway, it was silly. The crew, I should just say, is amazing, and lovely folks. There was one apprentice and 4 full-time crew members, and these guys are working hard for us dawn till after dusk. I mean, everything from food prep to, navigation, helping the captain. And then of course, like helping all the guests. We have a question, or I noticed that there's, the cream, and I'm like, hey, could I get this refill down below? And they're like, oh yeah, I'll take that for you. Or I would just take it. But just a really lovely group of folks to support our relaxation and our journey. I just really appreciate that. And one of the crew members was a former student of mine who I had when I was a school librarian, and so I got to visit with him and check in about how he was doing. He just graduated, so that was super great to hear. So the days were just these beautifully relaxing days where the food was all taken care of, the sailing, the boat was just going, and the itinerary, it's a little different than like a cruise, right? So the itinerary is really pretty dominated by the captain's knowledge of the tides, the wind, the weather. And so that sort of is more fluid. So it's not like you are going to get anything that's like pre-planned to tell you, all right, on night 1, we're going to be here. And on night 2, we're going to be here. And we're going to take a shore excursion here. So it's a little bit fluid. So we did take a couple of shore excursions. We took a shore excursion into Castine, which is a sweet little village. Beautiful bookstore, a gorgeous garden that a couple of us discovered that's like right near, I think, their post office. Beautiful peonies they had, and some gorgeous hydrangea. So we got out to stretch our legs. We also took a shore excursion in Vinyl Haven. Vinyl Haven is an island off of our main coast. Oh, Castine is like, it's on a peninsula. Vinyl Haven is on an island, and there was a couple of like sweet, charming shops. My little walking crew, we spent some time in a little bookstore that was used books to benefit the Vinyl Haven Library. It was amazing. They had so much stuff, and it was like $2, a book, and all of it benefited the library, which is fantastic and so clever. They've got all these transient folks coming and going, and pick up a couple fresh paperbacks new to you. And what was fun was that one of the other passengers aboard, one of the other guests who I got to meet, Linda, fellow librarian, and Linda and I were chatting about, I don't know if you guys have, anybody on here has watched the PBS, actually it's BBC, I think it's through BritBox, but Shetland. And it's a series, kind of a murder mystery set in the Shetland Islands. So, great for watching for knitwear and beautiful scenery. And it's like a mystery series. But Linda reminded me that that series is based on books. And come to find out, I found 2 of them right in this sweet little used library bookstore. So I picked up a couple. Like what I have to lose, 2 books for $4. There was also a really cool jewelry store, which I was gifted a pair of earrings from that jewelry store, and they are beautiful. It's like that sparkly dichrote glass, I think is what it's called. Anyway, just fun stuff to explore. And what else? Oh, and then there's the one thing that's sort of a sure bet with these cruises is there's always an excursion to an island where there's a lobster bake. And can't beat it. I took another beautiful swim there that afternoon with some of my fellow passengers. The water was amazing. It was didn't make me gasp or freak out or anything. And it was super pleasant. That was the night of the strawberry moon, but we didn't get to see it because cloudy. But the dinner was incredible, cooked over a fire, these lobsters. And then the real amazing part was s'mores for dessert. Okay, s'mores, I could kind of take or leave them, but whatever, having a campfire, I'll go for it. Well, Jocelyn and Justin have figured out how to really elevate the s'mores experience. And I was speaking with Jocelyn afterwards saying that s'mores blew my mind. The s'mores, as she said, when they were considering the weak link in a s'mores, they kept coming back to the graham cracker. And I 100% agree. That is the weak link. It's too thick. It's too crumbly. It just always is going to break and get all over you. No, yuck. That's the worst. So what they do is they bring a pizzelle press over, and it's a cast iron. So Justin is pressing fresh pizzelles to build the s'mores around. And then the crew is who would like a milk chocolate versus a dark chocolate? And come on. And what's beautiful about the pizzelle is it makes it into first of all, not a crumbly, chunky, too much graham cracker kind of experience. It's just just the right amount to hold your chocolate and marshmallow safely, securely, and there's a crunch and a crisp, but it's it's the perfect. I don't think I could ever go back. It was a pinnacle experience for me. I should also say I was trying to do a really good job of documenting some of the experience. So if you go to our GOAT Instagram, also they should be, I think most of them landed in our Facebook, although I haven't totally checked. There should be some reels where you can see some of what was going on for us. There was so much knitting. I've talked about all of this and not even knitting yet, but knitting, the food, just the vibe. So on the Instagram, there's a highlights that's called Knitting Cruise. So you can look through that or you can scroll on the page. But anyway, yes, there was so much knitting and so inspiring to be with all these knitters, different projects, and also to see people's knitwear. I have to say Kim just kept bringing out more beautiful sweaters, including her Scudic Bay cardigan by Alice Dunn Smith. That was our fall knit along last year, and hers is beautiful. But it just, everybody had gorgeous things they were working on. Fun to see everybody's little notions and bags, and me and bags, right? Speaking of which, one of our really sweet remote goats, Wendy. Wendy brought me and Kristen a little beautiful, sweet project bag that I think somebody locally to her local yarn store makes these sweet bags. Nice handle, a little bit of a zipper. Everything is lined inside so nicely. And Wendy just, you know, she's just one of those people. I've seen her mostly on Zoom with our knit-alongs, but she's so kind, and it was really a treat to be with her. And so she brought me and Kristen a sweet little present, and inside the bag was a skein of yarn this is a fingering weight superwash merino, and this was hand dyed for her local yarn store, which I don't, Yarns in the Farms, which is in Beverly, Mass. So so Round Mountain Fibers dyed this colorway specifically for her yarn shop, and she grabbed Kristen and I the last 2 skeins. And the awesome part of this is it's called Blue Lobster, this colorway. So Wendy, thank you so much. You know we love bags. You know we love yarn. It's just a gorgeous colorway. I'm trying to think of what I'm going to do with this. Wendy was working on a couple she had a finished Musselburgh hat, and she was working on another one. And so I wondered how this could be as a Musselburgh hat. So that's one thought. But it was very thoughtful. And then, as you know, the goat, Cashmere Goat, and Mary, we put together these swag bags for participants. And part of the swag bag was Mary makes these sweet little stitch markers. So we have little, where are my starfish? I should probably like try to cover my face so it focuses. I don't know how people do that. There's a little anchor. There we go, anchor. So kind of a nautical themed patch of stitch markers. There's even a little lighthouse. Come on, so cute. Wait, why can't I do this? There we go, lighthouse. And then we worked with Karen Grover of Seven Sisters Arts Yarns, one of our favorite local indie dyers that we stock here in the shop. And at holiday time, we had a limited edition yarn that Karen dyed exclusively for us. And it was so popular that we asked her to do it for our cruisers too. So this yarn base is Astrid. It's superwash merino plus silk. It's just stunning. Such a beautiful blue. Has a kind of nice nautical connection as well. And so every participant got a ball of this, and Mary designed 2 shawl patterns for the cruise. So everybody got a pattern, and some people were working on that pattern. Some people were working on their own thing. So it was just all around awesome. So just a little plug, if you want to follow Mary's Sawmill Creek Fiber Events, I will link to it down below to keep abreast of what she's planning, but highly recommend a schooner experience. And it doesn't have to be a knitting cruise per se to bring your knitting, of course, but it was really special to be on board with a whole bunch of knitters. So I'll also put the website to the J&E Riggin below. Okay. Oh, all right. So this is a tip. This is something I felt like I was the last person to the party on this. So I guess I just assumed that like other people already knew about it, but it came up on the cruise and it seemed like a lot of people didn't know about this. As many of you who use Ravelry know, Ravelry does not have a dedicated app. A lot of us find this irritating, and apparently someone was irritated enough with that to create an app that integrates and connects with your Ravelry. It's a paid app for like $5, but that's like a one-time fee. And I'm telling you, it has been a game changer for me. I use Ravelry on my phone all the time, and I kind of hate dealing with it on my phone through the web. It's just ridiculous. So the app is called Ravit. So it's Ravit, and the icon looks kind of like a little rabbit, which is adorable. as with anything, it takes you just a minute to kind of get the lay of the land and how stuff is organized. But I have to say, I kind of love editing a project in the Ravit app as opposed to the Ravelry web interface. Easy to upload pictures, easy to edit things. I don't know, the whole thing just feels pretty seamless and very intuitive. So if you're haven't already checked out Ravit, I would highly recommend it. You know, it syncs with your Ravelry. So all your libraries, all your favorites, all your projects will be there after you've kind of done that initial setup. The only thing is, if you go to buy a pattern on Ravit, you're kind of shuttled back to Ravelry. So that makes sense, I guess, because it's like PayPal and everything. So if you're not on with Ravit, that was something that it seemed like a lot of the folks on the cruise really enjoyed hearing about and felt excited about. So check it out. All right, so are you wondering what project bag I brought on my trip and what project I was knitting on? Yes, well, I pulled out my Magner bag. Now, we used to stock these Magner bags. We don't have them in stock anymore, but it's a waxed canvas. And I have to say, this guy was amazing. It was totally the best choice for me because we had moisture, we had rain, we had mist, we had fog, we had sun too, but it was perfect because the wax canvas was repelling the water. So, you know, like your Delaque bags would do the same with the wax canvas on like the Delaque backpack, the midi backpack, the rucksack. So, if you do go on a cruise, I would recommend something wax canvas. Oh, geez, sorry, that was probably extremely loud. Yikers, I had a pin that just popped off of my bag. So I took along and made some really good progress on my Kate Davies mystery knit along shawl called the Goff Place Mystery Shawl. So I'm on clue 2 right now. And if you're doing this and you're not yet at clue 2, I'm gonna go away. You can still listen to my voice. I'll try not to give anything like away verbally, but I will just say this clue was really surprising. And so scamper away if you don't want any spoilers. Bye. See you in a minute. So if you're here now, you are ready to see some spoilers. I had to go open the door for somebody, so you might hear somebody like sneaking around in here, and that's fine. I'm in here before the shop opens. So, clue 2 of the mystery shawl went in an entirely different direction. So clue 1 was this kind of square shape, and then clue 2 had us keeping these stitches live. These are on a holder. And starting to do like this pretty interesting thing around the edges, also in a square shape. And there's going to be something in the middle of this square shape eventually. And I will say there were a lot of stitches in this first part. I calculated it and I kind of wish I hadn't, but it was like on the order of 3,000 stitches. Yep. And it was boring because there was nothing interesting happening. It was just kind of the setup. And then once interesting things started happening, wow. So this was great. I got a lot of knitting done. I was able to really feel like I had the pattern in my mind. And I didn't have to look at my paper very much anymore because I kind of got what was happening. So that was a great choice for sailing knitting because I could chat and visit with people while I was doing that. So, all right, if you scampered away because you didn't want to be spoiled by this, that is fine. You can come back. It's safe. The project is put away. So I wanted to show you 2 things that we are super jazzed about right now. By the time you see this video, we will have listed something brand new to the shop. which is the Lemonwood mini minders. We are so thrilled to be a stockist of this product. This is a US made product, and you're like, well, what is this anyway? Well, I'm going to show you. So it comes in a little package, and in the little package you get a few parts. You get a base, a center part, and a handle. And I mean, look at this. It's beautiful, and they're all kinds of different designs. Like the one I was just holding up was bees, but I thought, look, this like totally coordinates with my rainbow dress. We'll just go for it. So here's what happens. You take, this is the setup. It's so easy. You take this little bit, put it in like this. You take, oops, oh, darn it. Where did you go? Rachel's helping me. Thank you. Thank you, Rachel. Okay, so then you take your cake and let's see, you just squish it right in there. I've got my little hook. This is like a really nice hardware, and I just kind of do this little clip. So now I have this, and this is amazing because I can walk and knit. Like imagine if I was just knitting right now, or maybe I was just clipping this. I'm in my car, and all right, let's see. Let's get over here. But it's just like beautifully coming apart. Well, it isn't right now because I'm sort of awkwardly holding this, but look at that. Yes. And so I could be walking and knitting. I could have this in my car. Like I've seen people online on the Lemonwood site, like they hang this from their mirror if they're in a passenger situation or traveling. I've also seen people have an additional, like they use like maybe a carabiner on here, or maybe even on here, like they're putting it on their waist or something. But anyway, the point is it's really cool. We're so excited we have them. Let me just open up this Buzzy Bee one so you can see this. So I will drop a link to this down below so you can see it. But oh, the bees, we have all sorts of beautiful designs. We love the fact that this is a company that is another small business. There have been a lot of knockoffs of this product, so you can definitely find something similar, like on like big box sites, maybe owned by somebody named Jeff, but they are not the same quality, and it's unfortunately, yeah, they've illegally taken this super awesome idea. Anyway, so the Lemonwood mini minders are going to be live on our website pretty soon. Okay, so that's thing one that we're super jazzed about, and sorry for my silly little dropping the thing, but I think I want to figure out a way to display these in the shop. Maybe Rachel and I will work on this today. How to display them so that people can, so that they're hanging. People can, I don't know, we should probably put a cake of yarn on it just to so people can get the idea, but it's awesome. All right, so that's thing one. And we also were talking, the last time I was on with Kristen, we were talking about a new yarn, a new fall yarn, and that yarn actually just arrived. And this is the Millstone Tweed by Barocco. So we had somebody in the shop yesterday. We didn't even have this yarn out. Rachel thankfully helped get this out there in a display area behind me. But this person was looking up this yarn on Ravelry, and there was like hardly anything because it is a brand new yarn. It's a beautiful tweed. This is an Aran weight, which if you watched our other podcast when we were talking about this, I think we talked about it as worsted because we were under the impression it was a worsted, but it is definitely Aran. I mean, this camel color, really nice. And I'm just telling you right now, this is soft. This is soft. The fiber content is 60 wool, 20 poly, 20 viscose. So it feels amazing. I'm really eager to try this yarn. So what you're getting in one ball is 97 yards in a 50-gram ball. So we've also got like this cool lavender tweed. I also love this one. It's a blue with these beautiful like midnight flecks. There's some great greens. There's several really luscious greens, a lighter one and a darker one than this shade. And some really juicy browns. Look at that. Be perfect for fall, right? So millstone tweed, I am jazzed about this. Felix, we were talking about a Felix cardigan or Felix pullover could be great with this yarn. Yeah, we're just trying to dream up what we're gonna make with this because it's pretty fun. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap up pretty soon because we've got to get the shop open. The last thing I want to say is our Fiberside Summer Crawl is coming up. It is a week from this Sunday. And this is the one where you buy the pass through Longmont Yarn Shop. I'll add the link below to the pass. It's your pass to this like armchair yarn store tour throughout the summer. And what's really fun is each shop like puts together a special page on their websites. So you'll be able to refer to that. There will usually be like a discount code for a limited time. And there may be like the products that we talk about when we hop on to our featured, when our yarn store is featured, we'll list the products and have links to that. So we're preparing because we are one of the first presenters this coming, not this Sunday, but Sunday, July 7th. So we will be on, Cashmere Goat will be on, kicking off the Fiberside Summer Crawl. It's really fun. All of the shops, all of the Zooms are recorded so that you can watch them later. But it's amazing to just see the different things different yarn stores are doing. I actually love watching it because it gives us ideas and inspiration. But yeah, so check it out. It's like $10 and it's just really, if you can join live, it's great because sometimes there's giveaways, but it's also fun to watch those recordings, like I said. So I'll pop that down below. It would be awesome to have some of our local and remote goats join us virtually for that on July 7th. So stay tuned for more information on that. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching this podcast. And don't forget to like this video, leave us a comment, subscribe, share the video if you like it. You know, if you find that it's fun to watch these silly podcasts that we do, feel free to share it with your fiber-oriented friends. We have fun doing it, and it's really nice when you guys let us know that you're watching. So happy making, happy knitting, happy crocheting, and we'll see you soon at another podcast. Thanks, bye.